Bigger government is always a problem, and Anthony, especially at Turning Point, kind of the whole fight against socialism is a big prevalent thing that we talk about a lot. But in a lot of cases, it's kind of like this unseen idea, right? And it is in a lot of ways. It's difficult to kind of pinpoint and explain exactly what it is. Except for now, Ma'am Danny over there in New York is actually the face of socialism. It's no longer like this nameless, faceless idea. It's in real life. I want to watch this clip that's resurfaced of him and his thoughts and get your guys' reaction.
What the purpose is about this entire project. It's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. We have to continue to elect more socialists, and we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of ceasing the means of production. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized and not. And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are.
Yeah, so not even hiding it anymore. It's just we're straight up socialists, and our end goal is seizing the means of productions. I wonder how that worked out for Soviet Russia. Anthony, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are simply this. This isn't the first time that New York City and other great cities across the country have dealt with this ideology of socialism. Right now, you finally have someone who's brazen and bold enough to actually say it to the camera that we want socialism, because New York City has been a socialist city for decades. When Andrew Cuomo was in office, Mayor Eric Adams, when he was in office, all of the policies that they put in there that disregarded Americans and now made pathways for people who literally would kill people in broad daylight, get slaps on the wrist, and then get released in the public. Sex work is now legal and decriminalized in the state. Drug use and paraphernalia are everywhere, which is why, just like California and just like New York, all of these people and all of these places are being emptied out, while other people are now coming in here to now take advantage of a system that has never been designed to succeed. Because in a socialistic government, everyone is fighting for it because everyone is equal and we all get this. And I tell everyone the best way to describe that is tip sharing in the restaurant business. I'm like, if Sally works 12 tables and then she gets $600 out of tips, and then Johnny works 3 and he gets $40, her 600 goes in a pot, his 30 goes in a pot, and everybody else collectively that gets split evenly. And I said, that's the goal of socialism, but who's guarding the pot? Who decides who gets what? Who decides who amount goes to where? And then in the end, everyone is disappointed because I put the work in, I should get what I'm worth and everything else. And then you have systems that collapse. And for everyone that keeps swearing that they're going to do it differently, we go to our history. That's why we have it, because in the history of the world, socialism has never worked.
But because of course it's never been tried effectively, right? It's never been done properly. That's the argument consistently on the lib side. Tiffany,
well, maybe if you actually put a guy who's out there full out saying that this is a socialist thing, maybe it'll actually take some ground. But like I said, all of these things have been done in the name of socialism with the socialistic practice, and it still hasn't worked out yet.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Hopefully not, though. Tiffany, so a bunch of people that watch this show have written in saying, hey, stop giving this guy airtime. And you don't have to agree with this, I'm just curious about your thoughts, have always said, no, you have to put this out in front of the American people and let them decide. And we need to convince them that this is a bad idea. With Ma'am Danny possibly being the mayor of New York, do we focus in on it more and explain it, or do we kind of hope that it just doesn't spread everywhere else?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think knowledge is power. And when you look at so much of what's wrong with our country and culture, it's the lack of knowledge. It's the lack of basic facts. Like, to Anthony's point, most people, I doubt right now, that are voting for this man in New York City understand that socialism is responsible for the deaths of at least an estimated 100 million people in history. 100 million people. It's more than the Holocaust, but we don't talk about that because heaven forbid we actually have knowledge. And when you look at, the quote unquote giving someone airtime, concept, the reality is that we aren't giving these subjects enough airtime. That's why you still have Queers for Palestine who are completely oblivious to the fact that Tel Aviv has the one and only, LGBTQ population in the world in Israel, but you have all that demographic marching against Israel, but for the people that would murder them and throw them off a roof without a second thought. So there's really a lack of knowledge, and I think it's really important. You know, he's very smart about being on TikTok. I mean, his mom's an Academy Award-winning director. So he knows how to utilize media and be front and center and do these really crafty commercials that are getting these bleeding heart Gen Z morons. So we need to fight against that, and we need to tell the truth, and we need to do it well. So let's keep talking about him.